anti-aging. And I want to use this word, or this, it just makes me speechless of what we do to polish our cup from the outside instead of turning the cup upside down and cleansing it from the inside. I guess because the big thing is there to repent, to call a spade, and put up our hands to say, okay, the path that I have traveled so far has been wrong, or I've made a mistake, or it's just like, no, it's not working anymore. It did then, but now I have to do amends and change my tack and go in a different direction. No, we stay the course. And then we come to the point that we see that the life is draining out of us, that we're not being penetrated and filled up and topped up by this abundance of life force energy, because we're working against it. We're working against the grain of what life naturally, the universe always trying to top us up, and gives us the experiences that fill us with vibrancy, that fill us with life, that fill us with memories. And then you don't mind if you're getting old, but you don't mind getting old when you have done the experiences. Or with my business in the sexology, as a sexual healer, just like, get fucked. Fuck life. Get the ride of your lifetime. Learn how to be sexual with purpose, with intent, with skill. And allow yourself to penetrate life deeply, and allow yourself to be penetrated by life deeply with meaning. This is what it's really all about. Life has a certain thing, and we live in time and space. But if we're connected to life, we get a certain top up, we get a certain vibrancy and a certain electricity. We're electric beings. We can do that partly through chlorophyll, through green stuff, through our nutrition. But also we can do this, that we live by our heart, by our intuition, by our feminine principle. And so often in our world, we have cut out everything that's feminine. Go around into the Western world and you see the architecture only becomes straight. Even garden architecture just has edges and corners and straight lines. And he's like, get rid of all the straight lines if you want to do proper garden design. But it's cheaper to do the straight line. So, okay, let's do that. And it's adaptive to the people, because they're in their mind. So therefore, their mind can judge and see the things more in straight lines. And they can box them, and they can feel in control of them, and they can feel, yeah, that's aligned. But the wonderful thing with nature is that when nothing aligns, because you only have round shapes, and a round shape you cannot compare to another one, you just can't hold them. But a straight line you can do and can have it, and this and that. And this is also what life is all about. And the aging process, if you age or not, but on the inside you're alive and you're young, innocent, live in the moment. Yeah? Isn't that what it's all about? Anti-aging means I want to keep staying in the moment. But ultimately what the anti-aging, when it becomes excessive, is I said, I want to stay in the past. I want to go back to the past, how the past was, which is difficult to do. But to know where you're at and know there's a particular experience that's waiting for you right now that's called truth. That's a penetrative principle of riding life. Of, how should I say it, in the extreme forms. We all, like in politics, the right-wing extremists, we throw them off the table. We don't even talk to them. We tell them even how bad they are. the right-wing lefties there are being pushed out, and we're only with this gray zone, with this kind of, okay, nothing forward, nothing backwards, nothing changes, everything is in the same. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Turn it upside down. Pour it out and cleanse it from the inside, so that whatever experience you put new in there won't be poisoned by the old. But if you still have all the bacteria and the mold on the inside of the old that has become rotten, and you just pour it out, but don't you clean it properly, then the new one you will put in will still change its color and its taste and so on, and will taste moldy from the old. So get rid of it. Whatever is in the past, and you only have the now. So live the now, whatever there is, and all the experiences, all when you allow yourself to get fucked properly. And this is why I use these words, is because the extreme sides, they have a purpose too. And we have to open ourselves up that we are also extremes, not just the mediocre in the middle, don't step anybody on the toes things. We have our opinions, and it is important to fuck and to get fucked, to take and to allow. In a sexuality, this is a huge arousal zone, to go into taking, to find consent with a partner, and says like, may I take from you? And the other one says like, I'd love if you ravage me, allow you to be the animal. And these are the wonderful moments when we can live the extremer sides from ourselves. A previous partner and I, we always have joked around in hilarious sense of humor, and have made fun of the animal that is inside of you that has to be put aside when you go into any kind of healing modalities, or being a sexual healer, or being a sexologist and so on. But this side is also there. And it's important to show up once in a while in these extreme sides. And when you can allow yourself to be the whole palette that is available from both extremes, not just the middle. Yeah, the middle is the home, and that's the resting place and the comfort zone and so on. But is the extremes that make you as a healthy living being, that you're not a bad person just because you have certain traits that involve whatever BDSM or sadomasochistic tendencies. It's just a part of you, and the better you can integrate and bring those extreme sides once in a while to the table, so that when the call is there, that you follow it, that you say like, okay, now I want to fuck life, and now I want to be fucked by life, and I want to allow this. So the extreme sides of that, the shadow sides of that, then it's so much easier to be in give and receive again, and in the more what's socially accepted, what's calmer, what's more moderate. But you can only live the moderation if you can also live the extremes. They're parts as well. And this is, I think, what is so important. And if we live all of those, then we won't worry about getting old, because we can live the moderate stuff with the extreme stuff. And we know it's all okay, and it's all love, and it all serves a purpose. And from the purpose, there are experiences, and that'll make us to the whole being that we are. Not separate, not faulty, because deep inside I still have some rage and some anger, and there is a rapist inside of me, and there's a Nazi inside of me, and it's like, own it, honor it. There is someone who projects constantly the enemy picture onto other people, onto other nations. But in the moment when you can be empathic, and he says like, whoa, okay, let's look at that. Let's find a creative expression of that. Not to let it become so powerful that then I have to act out in it by uncontrollable forces where I do havoc on this world, but see it as a creative part What is the energy behind it? And if we bring the extremes onto the sides, if we talk to the, whatever is it called, the right-wing parties and the left-wing parties, and bring them on the table, they're counterbalancing acts to our boring center line. And the center line is as important as the extremes, because all of them create a reference point of flow. But if we cut out the extremes here and the extremes there, then what is it in the middle? It's a kind of, if you have a pond and you don't let the extremes of the pond, like the inflow, the river that comes from the mountain and the river that goes into the sea, if you take them away, what do? You get stuck and it gets stalled and it starts stinking and rots. And so it is with ours. Let the extremes, there are constant activation sources that flow into us, that allow us this pendulum to swing and take in great extreme parts. What is creativity? Creativity is nothing else than ideas that lie beyond shame. That's why I think sexuality would be such a great thing to bring into companies, because sexuality so often is hidden by shame. It's not accessible. But sexual energy is nothing else than creative energy. Creative energy to bring us to our fullest potential self. So what could we do better than fueling an environment with sexual energy? Of course, not with the old traditional energy that is unconscious and that is wild and just masculine, animal desire. Instead of really, okay, how can I express myself creatively? And the creativity, the true creativity, starts as an extreme form of what you didn't thought of before. That's hilarious, that's shameful, that's sexual, that is not okay and whatever. And as you bring that creative spark into the center, onto the table and look at it, then you build around that extreme part that has come in as a joke, as whatever, and has been the actual spark of creativity. Then you make that spark into and shape it and give it form and place it into reality. And then you have a creative product suddenly that's outside of the box, what other people didn't expect, and that make them laugh and that made them buy a product or whatever. So the main thing around that is like, be sexual, be creative, step back into the world of fucking and getting fucked. Deeply, with meaning, with purpose. Open up fully, not just halfway. Learn that, how it works. What does your heart say? What does your body say? What does your mind say? What is your emotion saying? Learn the skills associated, what it means actually to be really creative. And as I said, there's only one rule. The less shame is there to be creative, to allow creative sparks that are extreme. You're shaping away from the extreme part. The extreme is like a diamond, is a raw stone. And then you edge and polish off the stone parts to retrieve the diamond. And it's the same with creativity. But for creativity, you need the extremes. You need the sexual sides. And these extremes are important, so bring them onto the table. All the right wing, the left wing, whatever they are, bring them on the table. Don't separate them from your life, whatever it is. Whatever perversities you have, whatever desires you have, whatever needs you think you have that are awkward to take, bring them, acknowledge them, bring them onto the table. Give them the empathy to work with it. Hold them, look them from bottom, from top, from left, from right, from the front, from the back. Look at them and say, it's like, oh, interesting. And then start slowly to polish them. And that's where you truly create health and youth. By living, by being aligned with life. And then you need less and less and less to do on the outside. Because on the inside, you will be so busy of nourishing yourself from your experiences and being so occupied with polishing this this rock that turns into a diamond and starts to sparkle more and more and starts to reflect more and more life. And you will be so focused and so your heart will just burst open and further and further and further. And the more it opens up, the more it will overflow, the more it will attract. So forget the anti-aging. If you are too much concerned about anti-aging and so on and buy into all this stuff that people have given you external sides, you're not working as well with your inside. And by not working with your inside, it means you're not allowing your extreme parts to be part of your life. That's why I say the fucking and the get fucked. Allowing yourself to get fucked from your life. These are the extreme parts of it. Oh no, you wouldn't say that. That's not nice to say, right? It's like, but sometimes you just want that. You don't want to make love. You just want to express an animal thing in you that's also love, that also wants now and again be seen. That's a little bit a hotter temperature is just the normal boil. And if you can do that, you'll see many things come off that. In our world, we see it the same way with NASA. All the space exploration and so on, what has it done? It has given us reference points outside of our comfort zone, outside of our sphere. And there is the beautiful saying that an expanded mind never can forget. The mind is once expanded and never can forget. It will always tend to go back there. It always tend to that amazing experience that it was outside of the comfort zone. It just tries to blow up and increase that to it. Anti-aging, very cool. Age with grace, because you have the nourishment on the inside, and you know that whatever the cup is on the outside, it's what's on the inside that matters. And if you allow to have truly fucked life and you really truly got fucked by life out of your own will, because you allowed it to and you choose to, then you have enough memories that you will always stand young and that you stand in your present moment, that you can still live in the present moment and don't have to live in the past. Oh, how beautiful it would have been if I'm just 20 or... Huh? Does make it different. Bring the extremes back in. Live the extremes that you are. Give them an empathy. Give them love. Your enemies, love thy enemy. Thy enemy is the extreme, because our world tells us, no, don't be like that. That's not okay. But the more you allow yourself in moderation to live your extremes and honor and accept your extremes, the less you're a ticking time bomb. The one who can show you aggression just like that, and it's like, show me your aggression, and you can show it, and you're like, ugh, you know you're safe because that person has controlled and integrated their aggression. So you can heat them up and wind them up as much as you want. He won't hit out. But the person where you don't see an aggressive blueprint in their aura, be careful of those, because they sooner or later flip. Because they can't cope with the extremes. But those who have integrated their extremes to make them there, they have that principle that the extremes are the rock where they can shape from the diamond. And as I said, with NASA and so on, all the technology that has been developed by NASA has been filtering down into industry and has been to benefit in general for humankind. In all sorts of stuff that we see, technologies from NASA, from space exploration. But there are the extreme parts. They're not part of the daily life, but they're the extreme parts who filter down and break off the little golden nuggets for us to work with. And that's what it's all about. So if you're worried about you age too quickly, or you need to be young, forget that. Work on your extremes. See what you judge, see what you don't allow yourself with. Have a look at how you allow yourself to get fucked by life, and how you allow yourself to penetrate and fuck life. And when you have those integrated, and when you can bring those also, particular with communication, and particular with an open heart and transparency and truthfulness and so on, and authenticity into life, then you will see that is fueling your inside. That keeps you young, that keeps you in the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, your love, it's all good. Just if you live in the past, then it will become a problem because you regret the things that you haven't done rather than things you have done.